as I ask you to come here to dream school today. To dissolve into that diamond light. Anything that's held your attention today. Anything that's demanded your attention today. As we invite you back into the now. To the fullness of your presence. Into the presence of your fullness. And here we are, week 1 of Dream School. So let's just say this is where shit gets juicy. And in that getting juicy of things, we're going to cover quite a bit today. And I don't mean to make it extra heady in that way, but like we're still kind of in the very beginning of this. So by the time we're like, weeks 5, 6, and 7, you'll get this. But right now we're still building this container of you. So welcome home. Perhaps your dreams have already begun to shift a little bit. It's kind of cool. Glad it did. Perhaps you're learning, like me, oh goodness, I can't lay down and then think I'm going to go into a dreaming temple. I'm out. I need to do that sitting up and then I can go in and lay down. But learn where you are with this, please, and be very gentle on it. Because the practices of dream school, the practices of your God making, are waking conscious practices. The dreaming space, well, the goal of it is to start remembering the dream up there. And as we remember, heard you guys, hello. As we remember that that's a dream up there, we will begin to remember that here is a dream as well. And that's when things start getting very interesting. But each session that we come together, we're going to be building things. And last week we talked about the Jed. Great, foundational. We're going to keep building on that Jed every week because is it teaching you yet? I would suspect so. That's its nature. I've been playing with it both with the up and down and with the out and in. So see what that Jed wants to teach you because, thanks. It says it's remembering you as you're remembering it. Thank you. This is the universe who has been desperate to be in relationship with you and in love with you. A relationship that has always been there. A universe that's always been loving, but now you're actively engaging and stepping into this relationship with. And now they're like, oh, you're finally paying attention. Let's go. Things will start getting weird. Let's just say that. So we're going to be practicing this process of inner knowing. And as we understand, we're going to put in a few more hekaus today for you because this is the way. It's a process of interior knowing that will begin to affect matter. None of this is happening to you or outside of you. It's all simultaneous. So we begin with just a sweet little message from Nadia. Bodies are temples. We will begin... Let's try that again. Bodies are temples. We will be building these bodies so we can take ourselves into other dimensions. We will come to know these things as vibrating systems rather than as solid forms. When you know your body is not a solid form, you also recognize reality is not a solid form. There is nothing that is solid, and there's nothing that is fixed. It's all in that level of relationship. So as we begin to arrive today, I want you to come home to your temple of you. To just lightly bring your awareness into your root, into your throne. And with a nice big breath, drop that throne down into your inner earth temple. Perhaps you've been down here visiting. Perhaps it's still showing itself to you. But feel the stability. And I ask you now to begin exploring this temple just a little bit today. I want you to find the place of the ancestors within your temple. Where do the ancestors live? And as you maybe find them, set an intention for today. Petition them for their support. As we ask only those who are healed and well in spirit to aid you. The others may begin to petition you to aid them. Bring that Jed back to your throne. Finding your center, coming back up into this body. As we ask the voice of the lineage to come forward to invoke those who hold us and love us today.
Hi, everyone. Let's honor the lineage. We honor Andy Murphy. We honor Margie Morgan. We honor Nadia K. Eagles. We honor Countess Olga. We honor Tana Gonza. We honor the Benevolent. We honor those who came before us, who kept this lineage alive, who protected this lineage. We also therefore honor and protect the mysteries. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Om Sa.
Om Sa. Thank you, Marilyn. That lineage piece is always interesting because it gives them a place to be too, instead of lost in notes or forgotten by others. Perhaps they had people who loved them in their life who still speak of them, but I think it's pretty lucky that we get to be with them and learn from them. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Nadia is offering that from this point forward, any type of relationship that you choose to be in with her or anyone else, you have access to all of their wisdom and all of their practices. You have access to the keys that they brought forward. Heard, because none of them are in form right now, other than Margie. So you actively bringing that forward is doing them a service. But they're happily tapped out. It's kind of cute. They're all at a party on the other side. So yeah, baby, yeah. As we begin our power up, allowing ourselves to tap into that radiant joy. That place of bliss. Woo-woo. That moment of known perfection. As you fill your body up. And that now. Making it this now. And when you find it, Ong Sa. Ong Sa, collapsing the distance in time and space. Ong Sa. Ong Sa, feeding your joy. Ong Sa. And as it peaks a few times in your body, begins to pierce through the top of your head in a fire mist, raining down the blessings upon you. Ong Sa. Ong Sa. Ong Sa. That fire mist cycling back through your feet, through your Jed, creating a toroidal field. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ong Sa. May all be blessed. Ong Sa. May I be blessed. May the joy that I cultivate be a blessing upon anyone who greets us. Ong Sa. Ong Sa. Ong Sa. Beginning to bring yourself back into present awareness, to present time and space. This phrase of the luminous Akashic now is something they've been playing with for a while. As the Akashic field continues to morph. Oh, it's resetting itself, isn't it? And I think we said it last week, but it bears repeating if we did, and I apologize if we didn't. They keep referring to us as the front wave. And that front wave also gets battered and bruised more than the back waves. So this front wave, we are the ones who are quite literally setting new systems in place and dreaming in new dreams. We lay the groundwork so that others may come and build upon these dreams, so that we may call in the new reality as it was always meant to be. Ong Sa. Ooh. Okay, so let's come into this Jed of your body, because each session that we gather, we're going to be building upon this Jed. We'll give a little bit more information so your brain can dig it a little bit. We want to also start building upon that Jed. That's what we begin doing today, building these 7 temples of you. So one of the translations for Jed is the way home to the stars. And certainly through our dreaming temple, that's one way that we're doing it. But also each time that we move into that Jed, it begins to bring in information. It begins to activate things. In other traditions, we would call this a pranic tube. Yeah. In our tradition, it's the Jed that is filled with secum. Would we like to do that now? Okay, let's do that. Let's go into that Jed just for one moment, please. Because that sweet little light at the base of the spine, what we referred to last week as the globe at the base, I want you to just pay that some attention today. Maybe it's with your breath. Maybe it's with some movement. This would be, in some traditions, the Kundalini energies. But let's just begin waking them up. Ha ha ha. Ooh, yeah. The secum, the sa kem. The secum is the energy that will fill the spine, directly translated as the absolute power to create, directly translated as the wisdom of joy. And I drop these in here without too much explanation because I think this is also where you get to engage in the mysteries. You get to tease it out later. What does the fucking wisdom of joy mean? I've been chewing on it for a little bit. I have some ideas, but this is your initiation. So the sa kem. Sa, as we talked about, it is the seedling. It is the spark of the divine. It is the absolute center. The kem is what we actually begin today. Kem translates it as black. The Kem is what Egypt would call itself originally, Kemetic tradition. You may have heard that as well. So Sechem, or Sa Kem, is this energy that comes down from the stars with its purpose of activating the oust. purpose of the sekam is to shake you awake. Yep. Try to sleep through this shit, huh? So the oust is what we're going to turn on now. The oust is going to be, it's a place marker right now. Heard. We have not earned it yet. Oust translates as the throne that creates the power of the absolute. The oust, I'll just refer to sometimes as a throne. Those who claim the oust have sovereign power. The oust, if you want to close your eyes, is going to be this first energy center at the base of the jed, base of the spine. It is said that whoever can truly sit upon this throne becomes a god. We've been doing this in the temple teachings. You've already played with this oust a little bit, but I want you to begin to chant it now and turn it on differently. Oust. 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 Ooh. Oust. 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 As I'm chanting it, all my energy is also coming up to third eye, so I want to intentionally drop that down here into the oust. I can see where my energy naturally wants to go, and instead reminding us that we're training it today. Do what's natural and train it. Oust. 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 Ooh, waking up those snakes. Oust. Oust. And as you begin, or as you continue chanting, I'm just going to come in with one other piece here. So listen to me wherever you are. Continue chanting. The oust is the light that comes from the God in the darkness. The light glowing from behind is the light behind all of creation. Oust. 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 And bring yourself into stillness now. Having given proper name to your throne. If you'd like to drop it down into Earth Temple, please do. Set it up there, make it all pretty. Giving it its name. Oust. Oust. I'll ask you intentionally not to do the dreaming temple. We'll be getting to that later together. So the initiation and the ask of the oust is to be God. And to recognize that everyone who is in form, everyone who got one of these temple bodies, has the opportunity to do this. No one's special, no one's without. It's just some people remembered the mission and others forgot. You remember. So the big scope of what we're doing here in Dream School initially was to teach you the Shenkas. It keeps expanding a little bit, and even as I've been in the places of receiving and creation for you now, it's showing itself to me in a completely different way, which is why this is so much fun. This is the mystery. It will keep evolving. It will keep showing more of itself. So the Shenka, these are the circuits of eternity. Shen translates as the teachings of eternity. Ka would be one aspect of your soul self. The Egyptians will work with a 10-body system. The Ka, well, it's kind of this waking state one. It's the one that we show up in. It's the one that gets the body. So the Shenka, the circuits of eternity. When we get into that eternity idea, this really is reminding us this is a teaching of immortality more than anything else. Because this world, it's illusion, it's not lasting, and that's okay. We get to create far beyond this one. We'll fix this one, maybe. We'll reset it, certainly. Oversee some new stuff coming in. And then we get to go everywhere else. Then we get to go anywhere we want. And if you don't want to fucking go anywhere and you just want to relax, you get that too. But the Shenka, or the divine architecture, they are the basic building blocks of reality. When you know these building blocks, well, you know some of the keys of creation. Dream school, our purpose and our intention is to turn each of these Shenka on. We're going to be working with the primary 7 and make each one of them a sanctuary, a temple that houses your divine self. Because as you may have noticed or experienced or heard, the way that your body is set, oh goodness, we are not working in divinity, are we? We are working with all kinds of bad information and bad foods and bad fucking programs and bad karma that's passed down to us by the ancestors. Limitations of who and what you are. Beliefs that were put in way before you got here. So our job is to clean up each of these temples so we can set them right. So we can turn on that Akka and spin a new reality in. Great. The Seker, the Sa, Ker. The Seker are the elements. So you'll have each of these temples inside of you, and each of the temples will have a different element that it is master of. When you can learn to master each of these elements and inhabit them as self, well, yep, that's kind of what we're playing with. Seker translates as the holiest pattern. It is, thank you. Thank you. They say earth in its purest form, but it is also star matter in its purest form. Seker. When we learn to work with the Seker, the elements, and maybe you already have a relationship with the elements. Maybe you already listen to water or earth or wind. Oh my goodness, we've had so much wind here. No opportunity except to fall in love with that wind over and over. The invitation is to know the divinity of each of these, the Sa, to know the Sa of every element. Because when you recognize it as divine, it recognizes you as divine, and the barrier between dissolves. Shisahat will talk about power is a force. The elements are a superpower, yes. They are a force of nature, yes. When we know how to use these as they were divinely designed, as the Seker, the holiest pattern, the purest and cleanest, well, then we have the antidote to any weird transhumanism AI agenda that might actually be out there. When we reclaim the divinity of our humanity, which is like, wait, I can evolve this. I don't just have to go unconscious here. This is when Shisahat began to get really excited last year. She's like, wait, we got this. So I remind you in that way as well. Like, yeah, if you're paying too much attention to a world out there, can feel very bleak. If you can remember and begin this training process that we're in, oh my love, we have the building blocks of humanity, of reality. We wanted to drop one thing in here today too, which is the Egyptian understanding of the mummy would be kind of like our understanding of the zombie. It's one who's asleep. The mummy literally is wrapped up in what's known as the cheba, or the bandages, that's holding them in place and not letting them become gods, not letting them become conscious. It's holding them into a reality, into a program, into malware that is not really true and not of divinity. So play with that idea of the mummy, because you might bump into a few of them in the outside world. Bless them. We have lots of compassion because we're just the front wave. Okay. The Seker, the purest essences, as they come into relationship with each other on a psycho-spiritual plane, they begin to form the universe as we know it. So we're going to turn on now one of these 6 forces of the 7 temples. I want you to begin to chant our first one today, which is going to be in the root. But right now we're just going to be working with the Seker, which is Ta, or D. Find which one works for you. It's going to be the sound between a T and a D. Ta, ta, no, da. There it is. Da, da, or D, 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 D. And if you'd like to do some breath of fire and want to pull in your belly while you're doing it and activate it, that's great. D, 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 D. And ta, or D, you will see it both ways, is earth. It's the first element. Of course it is. Because you don't get one of these bodies without fucking coming to earth, right? D, the primordial substance of creation. It's fucking primal. It is not refined. It is all sticky and gooey and weird and organic matter. Everything that comes into creation comes into being through D. All of it. Anything that's on this plane comes through D. Well, I guess we could challenge that now, can't we? We've got some shit showing up here that's not of D. D or Da. Pure sound of earth itself. So next time you're outside, maybe take off your shoes and go barefoot for a little bit and see how much she wants to show you of her true self. D. In this substance, this secker, the keys to all true healing and the keys to immortality. Because you know this evolutionary process, this process of not only waking up but becoming God, it's alchemical. So to transform this D, the earth. Okay, so we're going to start with our root, as we do in most traditions. We can call this the oust, the root. But again, we're gaining our way to the oust. So right now, I just want you to recognize, as this is coming online for you, the shape and the color. And then we're going to put the earth in there. So the shape of this root Shenka, it's a cube. Solid, strong. When we look at any of the Shenka on the body, as we are getting them set and as we are building them, it's really going to be about the size of a beach ball, centered within the body, right? So any other traditions, cool. You can add that in for right now. Let's just practice this one. Let's learn the Shenka. Let's learn the Seker. Shape is a cube, because you're going to build the rest of your body on top of this, and we need a solid base to be able to do that. And the cube is gold. Oh, thanks. If any of you guys have programming of chakra systems outside of this one, you might also just want to do some Samna M on that so that you can just practice, like, what happens when we put this one in? What does it feel like? And let's practice an experiment. Gold is the vibratory power to bring forth what is in the heart. So today, we're going to be going and setting this gold cube on our Jed. The gold to claim the oust, to make it a fitting throne for your God to inhabit. Moving into another initiation now. So you can begin just by looking at the visual, and as we go, if I can get my sound to work over here. There we go. And I want this to be celebratory. As you come into your Jed, working with that blue globe and seeing yourself setting upon that Jed gold cube. that cube with gold or with earth. Maybe allowing yourself to chant di, di, da, da. Ooh, chances are you'll feel it start to pulsate. Pulsating is exactly right. You're giving it life. You're exchanging your life, thanking it for being and acknowledging that it's always been. Haha, look, no snai lina ni out no kuku. Hey, out no senai laira ni e here kunuku. Haina e snai shnusuku. Hai e kinana ni out no snai la unuku snai shnusikiki. Hey, nine osna no kusna lono osnai ni e snai ni kunuku. Haina ni out no kusnai ni ai ni kina ni yara ni snai kiki. And when I'm ready, I'm going to ask you to open your eyes and look at this cube. The dot, incredibly important as you begin working with any hieroglyphs, any of the keys, because that dot is going to draw it to you. It's an invitation to its Sa. We all have our own ways of feeling and activating. For some, it could look like meditation, for others, movement. But even gazing upon these sacred forms, it will begin to show itself to you. Da, 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 da. Oh, thank you. If you'd like to learn even more, da, sa, da, sa, da, sa, da, sa, da, sa. As we ask the God self of even this form of the earth to come into conscious partnership, to recognize us as ally, as beloved, one who is remembering, as one who is seeking to remember the ways back home. And again, if you feel anything in your third eye, beautiful, yes, yes, and keep dropping it down. Begin to fade out as we come back into conscious awareness space. Time here and together. Ooh, hey. Just noticing that in your body. Noticing how your Jed even responds to that differently. Your Jed was naked before this. It might like having itself set proper. Ooh. So we're about to get into the bitchy shit of mystery schools because as this container was set for us, well, not everybody is ready for this. And it doesn't mean to sound exclusive, but these first 2 weeks you will learn why. In order to unravel from reality, you must die. That version of you, those parts of you must die. And that's what happens in the first week of any mystery tradition. So they gave much nicer words on that. And we've got several keys to be able to help you through it. But what they want to talk about in for us is the wound and the wisdom of each Shenka that we will work through. We have to gain the wisdom by working through the wound. And the wound of Root, oh, fuck, it's survival. And maybe you had an experience or two with survival in the last few years. It is the thickest, it is the heaviest, it is the darkest, it is the most isolating. So I remind you, this is an alchemical process of becoming, but who you were yesterday, who you were a week ago, a month ago, a year ago, is not how you will emerge through this. So the trick is, in order to pick up one of these things, you know, a lot of people petition for them, right? Beings from all of the fucking galaxies wanted one of these bodies. You were the lucky one who got one. And in doing so, you're like, yeah, I won the lottery, front row seat for this evolution. And then you're like, fuck, I have a body and I have aches and pains and it gets old and it grows weird hairs in places and what? So they're saying aging might come up for you in this route as well. Pain could come up for you. It is the thickest, it is the ugliest. Because you picked up a body, and in order to pick up a body, well, you did not get one just made for you. You got one that came from your mom and dad and your grandma and grandpa and your grandma and grandpa. You got all their shit in you because they didn't know how to clean it up. Nobody was showing them, well, they may have been. They weren't aware that they needed to look for these things. Let's say that, for the most part. So the things that live in you that are not yours are going to come up. The patterns, the fears, the limitations, the beliefs. And it will, at moments, get to places where you're like, I don't even know why the fuck I'm doing this mystery school thing. No, I'm out. Cool. I'm okay with that. And I remind you, we've got Michael, Marilyn, and Loren, who when you get to that place, they're like, hey, come back. It's worth it, is what we can promise you over and over, to allow this wound to unwind itself into wisdom. This is the alchemical process that we're in. So for the wisdom, for a little bit of the blessing, we're going to have a few this week and even more next week. I want you to set an ancestor altar. Let's make sure that whoever did not get the love, whoever did not know that they were God, has the opportunity to heal through you. Yep. The hekaus that we're going to do on this. You ready for it? Aminu Mahakaru. Aminu Mahakaru. Aminu Mahakaru. And you can just begin chanting it. I'll explain it to you. Aminu Mahakaru. Aminu Mahakaru. Aminu Mahakaru. Aminu Mahakaru. Within the all, I am found innocent 100 million times over by the great council of all of the gods, of all of the beings, of all of the realms. I am innocent. Aminu Mahakaru. Aminu Mahakaru. And you'll feel it even moving through you. You did the best you could, as they did the best they could. Aminu Mahakaru. If you were an asshole to somebody and cut them off in traffic, Aminu Mahakaru. Aminu Mahakaru. Part of this prayer and hekaus for us is we're going to be healing the ancestors to cleanse the future. Aminu Mahakaru. I'm very specifically asking the ancestors not to come forward to you. Fuck no, that's too much. They may go on your altar. You may meet with them on your altar. That will be the in-between space. You may meet with them there. They may come there. They can't just come into you and ask for help. Fuck no. I have a family member who is called Simple Melvin. And he came to me recently. He's like, I really don't like being called Simple. Yeah, I'm sure you would not. Um, let's see what we can do about that. I've started to tell the family members, and I'm like, we don't call him that anymore. He does not like that. Ami nu maha karu. Melvin was doing his best, wasn't he? Ami nu maha karu. So saying it for the ancestors is going to be one part, but saying it for yourself over and over and over and over and over and over and over. They're going to ask that this ancestor altar be in place for you at least until the third, maybe until the fourth week. We're going to just keep this going. And you can make it as elaborate or as insignificant as you want. If it's a candle in a room, cool. But it's not somewhere where you go and hang out. It's somewhere where you go to meet them. It will be the in-between space, please. Aminu Mahakaru. And recognize that each time that prayer utters from your body. Ooh, 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 ooh. Oh yeah, you guys want to say that now? Thanks. The jet is all about vibration. Have you guys found that out yet? As we're feeling it, it's all about the vibrations. So each sound that we make, each hekau that we drop in, radiates out through our jet, begins to create reality again. So specifically with this ancestor altar and with Aminu Mahakaru, when you do it for the ancestors, I ask that you see them in their oust. I ask that you remember that they are made of the same stardust that you are. I think this will be a lot easier with ancestors who are not embodied. Advanced practice, do it on actual family members who are here. Aminu Mahakaru. Remind them that they are divine and precious and did their very best. Aminu Mahakaru. My hands get all sweaty on that one. Anybody else? Aminu Mahakaru. Oh, it's cool when it activates. So we've talked a little bit about why these next few weeks could be a little bit hard. And we'll just say again, your body's going to shift. It has to. You're enhancing your abilities. You're growing your attention by giving different attention to things. You're putting your body back right. So in shamanic practices and in shamanism, cool. Well, yeah, we like to do this thing that's called dismemberment. Oh, it's so good. You got cancer? Yeah, go fucking let all your power animals eat that a few times. Dismemberment is so sexy and so effective. You're going through your dismemberment, my love. In the first week will be harder because it's the stuff. It's the densest. It's the heaviest. It's the darkest. Second Shenka will have its own wisdom wounds. And I remind you that you're enhancing your ability to perceive reality with new eyes, with new feet, with new hands, with new mouth. And if you want to be in that reality, this one has got to go. And if there's anything specifically in your body that's causing you challenges that you would like to go, I'd fucking throw that in too if I were you. Yes, please, you may take this. Yes, please, you may take this. It's funny as I sat with this because Nadia's precautions around this are very sincere and they are shaking, crying, vomiting, natural result of first Shenka work. And I'm like, ew. And I'm like, wait, I do plant medicines. I know what the fuck that's all about. So I think we have a different understanding in this era where that may have been very scary to our ancestors or perhaps even our parents. But all of a sudden we're like, oh, shaking, crying, vomit. Well, yeah, that's what healing looks like sometimes. So when those things come up for you, you ready for yours? This one has never come through before. I know I may have been messaging somebody the other day about it because it's so good. Yeah, it's a somatic release. Thank you for that, Loren. This is exactly it. This is releasing at a very human nervous system level. Saucha Murmana. 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 The literal translation is to die, to advance, to go forward. Saucha Murmana. Saucha Murmana. And in doing so is to heal and to save. Saucha Murmana. Saucha Murmana. Saucha Murmana. Saucha Murmana. This hekau directly supports the nervous system. Sa ucha murmana. So anytime shit's getting really like weird or heavy and you're like, sa ucha murmana. You guys keep chanting that. I'm going to read it to you because this one, like, please allow me an easy death. Please allow me an easy death at the breast of heaven. I remember that that breast of heaven is the immersion in joy, the immersion in my own falling apart, my own disintegration, that I may dive into the lake of the absolute, into the cosmic ocean, to know the joy that is beyond truth. Sa ucha murmana. Sa ucha murmana. Sa ucha murmana. I heard there's a threshold that will be crossed, right? There's that moment where like there's a lot of resistance, and this is where I want you to do a sa ucha murmana, is like to like dissolve into it and come out the other side. Sa ucha murmana. You'll feel that resistance. If it's in a nervous system, well, that could look like some trembling. Take a hot bath, drink some tea, Epsom salt, do the things to take care of you, please. And I can even feel this like in my back. It makes me nervous. Okay, that's fair. Death is death is that way. You can be a little nervous about death. Please allow me an easy death at the breast of heaven. Oh yes, remind me that the breast of heaven is like the immersion in joy. The immersion in my own falling apart. The immersion in my own disintegration. Sa ucha murmana. Sa ucha murmana. That I may dive into the lake of absolute, into the cosmic ocean, to know a joy beyond truth. Sa ucha murmana. Sa ucha murmana. The other key that you'll get in working with this root, the black, the thick, the blackest, the densest, also has the oldest keys in it. It's those keys that your ancestors never evolved. It's those pieces that have been waiting for you to come along and be like, boop, what happens if I do this? So the way that Nadia says it, I'll see if I can find the exact quote, because it's one of those. I think it was in the Shadow Work ebook, if anybody's looked at it yet. It was in there, but the blackest is made of the most densest stars. It's the pathway to like the deepest of the secrets. The heaviest stuff that you're the least excited to look at, yeah, go there. And if this path of shadow work is new to you, you don't do the big heavy shit first. That's super scary. Unless you're a baller or an Aries. The rest of us, I might take it one chunk at a time. You don't need to go to the hardest and the most traumatic things first. They will arise as they need to. Dive into that absolute lake of cosmic ocean bliss, please. Your greatest ally over these next few weeks, besides us, will be your own compassion. Compassion. Because compassion, they keep saying, is the marker of the new earth and the marker of a new human. When we have compassion, it means that I've experienced it myself so I can extend it towards somebody else. It means that I've gained all of these experiences in the human, which is the whole point of being here. I had to gain all these experiences so I recognized life and death are the same. When you get into true compassion, polarity is done. We're aiming toward this place of unity consciousness. We might have a concept of what that is. We don't have a lived experience of it quite yet, except if we've done these types of practices. But a moment of compassion brings you into total presence. And I know at least one person in here who's doing some pretty big compassionate things with an X, where you're like, and it's done. Yep. Thank you. Compassion, not forgiveness. Forgiveness, I think, is a different path. Forgiveness we might get into more in the second Shenka. So ucha murmana. So ucha murmana. I know, I think we have enough hekaus for today, you guys. There's another one that they want to play with, and I'm like, no, I think we're good. Saucha Murmana, the blackest and the densest, will be your greatest allies. We're going to head up into our dreaming temple now. You ready? Shaking all that out. Your brain's got some good information to chew on. You know what's going to be happening next. And let's allow us now to move into that dream temple. And we will do this each time that we learn a new Shenka. Thanks. Yeah, they're excited. I know. You guys, it's so much fun to play with spirit, isn't it? So much fun to play with ourselves. As we get ready for Dreaming Temple now. And today in Dreaming Temple, we're going to be setting our oust of the Dreaming Temple. And we'll begin just by coming back to ourselves, dropping into root, into throne, sinking that down into your inner earth, into your true self temple. And linking up with the heart of your temple, where compassion always exists. Good. And linking up with that heart, coming back now into your throne. Allowing your Jed to extend through you, up into physical self. Piercing out through the top of your head. Going into that dreaming temple. Stabilizing as you see the stars under your feet. Maybe taking a few minutes before you go right to work here. Maybe going right to work. As you set that golden cube onto the Jed of your highest self in Dreaming Temple. With it set, just allowing yourself to have new experiences. No other work to be done here. Allowing your breath to find its own rhythm. If there's any hekaus that want to come with you, allow them to work through you, through your Jed. The stability of your dreaming self. To gain texture. To become. If you've had any specific dreams that you need help with, this would be a good time to ask aspects in this part of your temple. Not for meaning, but maybe where to assign its significance. How to work with it. Ha 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 ha. Ooh, maybe visions. Ooh, yeah. Why don't we do this today to hold a vision of something you want? Something you want on the earthly plane. Linking those energies of creation through the Jed. Good. And when you're ready, dropping back down into physical body, bringing with you now that vision. Putting it here in this golden cube. Da, 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 da. If you feel like you'd like to use this time to go down into your inner earth temple. You may set your golden cube there as well. Da, 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 da. Feeling all three linked now. And riding, you might ride it, you might climb it. Egyptian terminology, it's a ladder. Good. Coming back into present space. And here in this body with eyes open, allowing it to integrate. Allowing all of your cells to come into presence with whatever that vision is. I will say that each time I do the da, I do have a tendency to pull my belly in. Da, da, da. And it feels like a wave that goes through my body. If that makes sense for you and feels good, please do. Or find your own. Cute. That da almost feels like a beat, a pulse, that they say play with it in Dreaming Temple. Cool. Good. This concludes our initiation for today. Your practice between now and when I see you next, you're stabilizing. You're allowing whatever arises to be divine, no matter how ugly or unpalpable it might be. Practice with the hekaus. Learn and sit in that gold. I'll get visuals for you as well, so if you want to use the music to do it, or if you just want to use the visual, or if you want to draw it on your own, make sure that if you have that cube in there, you also have the dot. You have the saw. Let your Jed continue to teach you, to come alive through you. That ancestor altar. Oh, honey, this is new. I'm like, oh yeah, that's a real good idea. They say it will speed up our ability to create by healing them, the blessings of that. And if you have not worked with ancestors much, like, you don't want to call grandma in. Grandma probably did not clean up enough of her shit, so the languaging that we use is the well ancestors. The ones who are happy and in their joy and knew their joy, not the ones who left the messes for us. We don't call upon them for help. They aren't truly able to help. If they were, they would have. Doesn't change the quality of love, but we will gift them through our evolution. We will bring them to places they did not know how to touch. Long saw, my love. See you next time.